Oh, we're live.
We're live.
Can't even tell I was in the shower 2 minutes ago.
This is how we do, and I love it so much. So Jess, I'm sharing to my personal page for the first time. So
Whoa!
I want to say hi to my personal page. Jess and I have been doing this. I saw what you wrote. This is our 18th one. How was that even possible?
Wait, what?
How is that possible?
So we have 18 episodes and you've never shared it to your personal page?
Well, that it's already been 18. Like, that's kind of crazy to me that it's so happy 18 episodes to us.
And oh my gosh, we should have a party at 25 or 21 or 29.
21 when it's old enough to drink.
We should drink on our 21st episode. We could have like mimosas or something.
Oh my gosh, we should totally do something like that. That'd be so much fun. So I want to just say a quick shout out to my friends over on my feed who may be seeing this for the first time. I was like, I need to start sharing this. I don't know why I haven't been. So this is the Jess and Allison show with no name. This is my lovely friend, Jess, and she is a fabulous clutter coach. And we like to get on here every Friday and talk about all the ways that it's all related. Everything she coaches on, everything I coach on. And also we just come on here to honestly just hang out and have fun.
It's the only way we can maintain our friendship. If we have we have to not only have a date with each other, but we have to be like held publicly accountable for it.
We do have to be held publicly accountable. And we just needed a time where we could have guaranteed laughs. So we're like, why don't we just like create this in our schedule and carve it out? So that's what we do. This
Friday
is the show
mornings.
Every Friday morning, and I'll be sharing it every week now. So if you would like to join us, feel free. We always talk to people in the comments, and we have so many wonderful people in this audience that we engage with the whole time. So that's a lot of fun. So welcome to
sometimes we bring people onto the screen. It would actually be nice to bring an Allison person onto the screen. Somebody that you've never met before.
That would be so fun. Yeah, we like to do that. You'll have to teach me how to do that. Jess will send me the link and I will send it to you. If you feel like joining us live, there's no pressure. We just have a lot of conversation, and it's just like a little chit chat. This is like what I really would love to do in real life. This is what we build here for now until I can do it in real life.
Oh my gosh, we need to take this show on the road. We need to like visit cities.
Oh my gosh, that would be so much fun.
How big do we have to be before we can like book like a venue? I guess it depends on the venue, right?
I mean, we can do whatever we want.
You can meet us in like a cow stall, but like if you want to come to a real theater with good acoustics,
it's really just
need to have a following.
It's just a matter of marketing, right? Like
it is.
We already know how to do that. So.
Well, except for the fact that it's been 18 episodes before you shared this on your page.
I wonder if there was like some subconscious stuff there too that was at play. But I'm past it now, so we're good.
Do you think if we booked a venue, that would be the thing? You know how they say like if you spend the money will come? Like if you book a venue, do the people just come? I mean, would people be like, what is this thing I've never heard of? I'm just going to show up. And then all of a sudden, because we booked the venue, like if you build it, they will come. If you book it, they will show up. Do you think that will happen?
Honestly, no.
Allison, there's only one way to find out.
There is. I mean, there's probably more than one way, but I'm totally game to try it that way. That's so funny.
A small, intimate theater. Yes, exactly.
We'll bring all groupies. That's what Marcy. Yes,
like a coffee house-sized theater.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of feel like people. I'm learning interesting things about like places do look for content stuff. Like they do look for people to hold things that will gather people, right? So what if we're just one of those events?
I think they also look for people who will bring them money. And I'm not sure we're those people.
I'm not sure we are either.
Oh my gosh.
Someday.
I mean, so Allison, right before like 5 minutes before we're supposed to go live, I get a text message on my watch that says, "How do I share this to my page?" And because I'm in the shower at this point. I'm like trying to respond. Like the water is messing up my response. I'm like, I can't tell her I'm in the shower.
I think it's, you guys, this is just so on par with how this show runs. We literally, we'll like, I'll ask for the link and she'll send the link at the same time, almost every single time, 2 minutes before the show starts. This is just how we do. It's fun.
Thank goodness. I have to tell you, I'm going to share with you and your audience the number one best thing that we haven't talked about this, right? How that I've ever done for my business. And the only reason that I can like sustain anything is that oh my God, I hear an echo. Okay, it's gone.
I don't hear anything.
Okay, good. So Wendy, who may or may not be watching us right now, kept telling me I needed to get in touch with her friend Michelle, who owns awesomeoutsourcing.com. And finally, I was like, okay, I'm going to get in touch with Michelle. Like, chill out, relax. I'm doing it. Okay. That was the best bit of advice I've ever gotten from my whole entire business, because Michelle runs a virtual assistant agency. She owns a virtual assistant agency, and the virtual assistants are based in the Philippines. And her mission is to lift people out of poverty, right? It's like this incredible mission. And her team of virtual assistants is phenomenal. So Joanne, who is going to watch this probably later because she does all the behind the scenes stuff for me. Joanne is my virtual assistant, and she's the one who schedules all of this every week. Thank goodness.
Thank you, Joanne.
Probably would not go on. If you are looking for incredible virtual assistants, talk to Michelle. She's amazing. She's also
awesome.
has like a fascinating story. She's like a stroke survivor. Like the reason she started to outsource everything was because she needed to, and she's just brilliant at it. Awesomeoutsourcing.com.
That's awesome.
Plus, how amazing is her company name?
It's perfect.
I've been accused of being a top shelf talker. Like I use way too many I use awesome to describe basically everything, and the true meaning of awesome is not, can never be applied to a salad ever, right? Like,
well, no, okay. I need to understand, what is a top shelf talker, and what's the problem with calling a salad awesome?
Okay, so a top shelf talker. There's a comedian that talks about this. I can't remember who it is though, but anyway, there's a comedian that talks about top shelf talking, like where you like describe everything with hyperbole, right? So it's like, it was the most incredible, amazing, awesome experience. That is exactly how I talk, right? I only use top shelf words. And then there's like nowhere to go. There's nowhere up, right? You can't like talk up after, like he says in his little skit, like after you've described a salad as amazing, like what happens if something truly amazing happens? What word are you going to pull then? Right? So
I'm sorry, but I don't have a problem with this.
Thank you. That's why we do the show.
Yeah, because the thing is, I think if you are of the mindset where you can see things in that light so regularly, you're living a pretty freaking awesome life, and just continue as you are. And then when something is even more grandiose and you need to describe it more, there are plenty of words in the English language, and you just put a bunch of them together and it's fine.
Right. Just keep adding awesome words. It's the more you string together, the more awesome it gets. And
pour all the top shelf words.
Exactly. Allison and I are now changing the name of the show to the Awesome Show with No Name.
The Jes and Allison Awesome Show with No Name. I don't know. It doesn't quite. We're adding a lot of things there. It's already kind of
long. We'll come up with some other. The Incredible Show with No Name.
We're just gonna see. Okay, so here's the thing. I will say that sometimes people talk like that, and it's like just like bugs me just a little bit, because I'm like, I feel like you're kind of being fake about it. But I have never felt that from you.
I am very genuinely.
You're just truly appreciating it. So, like, do it, girl. Appreciate life.
The only time it's fake is if you say it really slow, like, wow, awesome.
That's not fake. That's just good tonal usage.
It matters.
You're saying something totally different. It's not
Exactly.
fake at all. Oh, good morning. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Liz. Hi, everybody. Welcome
Yay.
aboard. I did not come with a list of anything to talk about. So I was like, what should we talk about today?
Okay, we need some topics, people. Pop some topics into the
Have some
comments here.
topics.
Pop some topics. Allison, we're preparing for our first in-person retreat soon.
I'm so excited for
I'm very
you.
excited too.
Yeah. Tell me again. That's really soon, isn't it?
So I have a hard time with dates, but yeah, it's coming up really soon. It's October. It's like the end of October. So
Yeah, that's really soon. What happened to October also? Like, why are we halfway through it
Oh
already?
my gosh, I know.
I'm still trying to figure out where September went.
Well, it's also been really warm in upstate New York,
Yeah.
so it feels, I mean, not hot, but very unseasonably warm, which people are like, "This is great." But really, I'll tell you what happens when it gets unseasonably warm in the fall. The ticks come out, the bees come out, but they're like slow, but they're everywhere. The stink bugs come out. Like, I don't feel like it's gross, right? Like, if it's cold, all that stuff doesn't come out. So if it just stays like,
what do you prefer? What's your favorite season?
I was wondering if the choices were tick, stink bug, or bee. I was going to say stink bug, obviously.
because I love the fall. I can't say that, like, we have a lot of stink bugs too, but our ticks are not. It's not like that necessarily here. They all came out in the spring really bad, but I haven't seen them much.
We get a little bit in the spring and a little bit in the fall. Mostly I see them because one of our dogs lives in the brush, apparently. It's only ever in like brushy undergrowth and like nowhere else. It comes home with like ticks everywhere. Anyway. Okay, I don't really have a favorite season. I like having 4 seasons. I really appreciate that. And my favorite like feeling seasonally is the first snowfall. Like the first real snowfall is my favorite seasonal event of the year because it feels so good, right?
And it's so bright. I just love like
So
everything is like magical. Yeah.
Yeah, snow is so magical. It makes every landscape look so like it covers all of the garbage and
yeah.
literally covered. And then it starts to melt and it's like the worst.
And it's the worst. It's the best for like this amount of time.
It's falling, it's amazing. And then you get all excited about the weather forecast, like we're gonna get a nor'easter, whatever. It like almost never happens. Like it always deviates at the last second. But when it does, usually when they don't predict it, it does, right? Because it had that last second deviation. And then, it's like 3 feet of snow and it's amazing. That's my favorite. What's your favorite?
3 feet of snow. We don't get that much.
We've never had 3 feet, 2 feet.
Oh, I was like, wow.
Hyperbole shows up in other ways.
Oh, right. just clarifying. I want to make sure that we're on the same page.
We do occasionally get like 18 to 24 inches. Like that's because we live in a hill town. So
that's awesome. Yeah. That's really big for us. We got a really big snowfall last year, and it's still nowhere close to that. I think it was like a foot, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was good. It was really good for us, but that's funny. I kind of feel like I like the beginning of every season. Like I like that also with the snow. It's very magical. And then I get tired of it real fast. I love fall when it's like all the colors like are all at once and it's just that perfect crisp air. But then that happens and it lasts for like a week. So fall also kind of makes me mad.
That hasn't happened yet. And that's the thing that's frustrating me about this fall is that I feel I think that like we were supposed to be in touch with the seasons, right? There's like that's a thing that I feel connected to the seasons. And when it's not seasonal, it upsets every like aspect of my spiritual being.
No, I get that. You're like, what's going on right now? I think that I just keep feeling like I'm like behind. Like the older I get, the more behind I feel. I'm like, it's actually fall, but like, is it really because this time went so fast that I feel like really out of sorts about it all. So I don't quite feel like I'm missing it hasn't felt very fall yet, but I do love I love the colors of fall. That's always been one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I mean, mm, it's also because it's been warm, we've had a weird fall foliage season. I don't know if you've
Mm,
experienced that, but
mhm.
it's colorful, but it's not like the normal, which may work out well for our retreat because it's a little more north from here, so it's possible there'll still be some foliage. I don't know.
That'd be
It's
cool. Yeah, no, I think there probably will be at that
maybe. I
time.
don't know. 2 weeks,
That'd be
3
cool.
1 week. I don't know. What day is today?
I have no idea.
No.
Let's check.
Okay,
15.
I'm gonna tell you, here's the thing. There is one fall activity that everyone loves and that I absolutely hate, and that is apple picking. Okay, I do not like apple picking at all. I like other people to pick apples for me, but you go to the apple picking farms, everybody, it's like their quintessential like outing for the fall. So there's all these people there who never go outside, right? I mean, that might be an exaggeration, but it's like
They're just
packed
there for their Instagram
people
posts.
who are, yes, exactly. They're just there to take pictures. There's bees everywhere because the apples fall down and there's, they open up and then there's bees everywhere. It smells like mushy apple, like whatever. It's just not enjoyable to me at all.
Mm.
And then you have to carry the apples, which by the way are heavy.
Mhm.
And then also, I'm always like, is this a pesticide that's on top of my apple? Because it doesn't feel like an apple skin. It feels a little like, I'm like, what's all this? Like, what are all these like sprayers around here? It's because they're spraying pesticides on my apple. It makes me so paranoid. I'm like, should we eat the apples? Should we not eat the apples? I don't know. But anyway, that's my
How many
thoughts
times
on
have you
apples.
been apple picking?
A lot.
Have you? I have not. I've been
You've
like
never
once in my
gone apple
life.
picking?
I
What?
I I I don't do it. I've
Because
gone
it
like
sucks. I mean,
I was like really young when I went, and I don't remember it. I remember it being like, "Oh, this is fun," when we show up with like all the things, and then you start, and it's like, "Oh, this is not so fun." Kind of
well,
like blueberry picking and strawberry picking.
all the like picking
All the
is
picking.
picking, it's hard work, right? It's like
It
it's
is.
manual labor, it's hard work. I don't mind the other stuff because I don't know, I just don't mind it as much. But do you not have apple orchards by you? Is that why you have never gone apple picking?
I honestly think it's just because I don't care. I'm like, I want to do events and stuff with my kids, but that's not one that I've ever been drawn to.
Because you don't want to deal with bee stings or like,
I
you know,
just know what it's gonna actually be like with my
what is it
kids
gonna
when
be
I
like?
get there. It's gonna be like you get there and it's exciting for 5 minutes and then I'm not gonna go by myself. So if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this with my family. And then in 5 minutes in, I'm gonna be like dragging my children and be like, why are we even here?
And all the apples.
With all the apples.
And you're not supposed to eat the apples, but everyone's eating the apples, and then you're like, oh, hide.
So funny. I've honestly had no desire to go apple picking.
Yeah. Okay, even worse than apple picking is the hayride to, like, pick the pumpkin. Okay, being on the back of a wagon on top of hay is not comfortable. There is nothing comfortable about this ride. You're on hay in a wagon on, like,
Mhm.
a dirt rutty road up and down. I mean, you're sneezing. It's like, who
That
a
that I
hayride?
love. I love
Oh,
that.
which part of it do you love? Is it the scratchy hay on your calf muscles? Is it the
No,
uncomfortable seat? Like what where are we going with this one?
it's the adventure. It feels like an adventure that I don't actually have to do anything on. I just get to sit there and let us be on an adventure.
Huh. It never felt adventurous to me. It just felt plain uncomfortable.
Mm, yeah. I don't know. I have always really loved the hay wagon stuff, which is funny
But
to
then
me.
you get out to the field and it's all these dead vines, which doesn't feel good. I mean, the pumpkins look nice and all, but like it's the end of the season. It's like brown, muddy, dead vines. It's like, oh, there's the pumpkin still on the vine that I now have to cut off. Like,
Margie's team Allison.
all right, team comment in the comments. Just
Hay
saying.
wagons, yes. Apple picking, no.
But I do love fall other than that. Like I love walking in the woods on with like, the bed of beautiful leaves when it's
Mhm.
quiet. Well, I guess I just don't like that, like the activities that come with all this stuff.
Do you think it's the activities or do you think there's like a pressure to do the activities?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe it's both. And then there's sugar involved with everything, which really annoys me. Like you go apple picking and it's the apple cider donuts or the like candied apples or I mean, can't we just have an apple? Like
No, no,
there
we cannot, Jess. We need all
pour
those
sugar
things.
into this.
Please give me all of that.
Yeah, I do love apple cider donuts, but
Do you not eat sugar?
well, I mean, I think sugar is like poison, so I
Yeah.
feel
So do I, and I still love it.
well, of course everyone loves it. That's the poisonous part of it is that it's addictive poison. But I feel like every holiday oh, you guys are really getting my feelings today. Every holiday is about sugar, right? So
Mm.
and I don't know, tell me this, Allison. In your area, so when I was growing up, we would go to a parade and it would just be like a parade of cars and people walking and band members and whatever, and kids would be cheering and it was like super cute, whatever. Now, I live in a different spot. We go to the parade and it's like piles and piles of candy being thrown out. Like the kids only want to go to the parade for the candy. And I'm like, well, we're
Oh,
honoring like people who died in wars to protect your freedom. And all you can think about is the candy, which I can't blame them because they're kids, right? But
right.
why are we throwing candy out at every single parade? What is up with that?
Maybe I
That's
haven't been to a parade in a long time either. I'm like, I do not recall this.
why I don't go to parades anymore because I'm boycotting the sugar. I'm boycotting the like hijacking of the actual holiday that we're supposed to
Right,
be honoring.
right,
And
right.
then they come home with all of this candy. What is
That's
this?
how
Mardi Gras?
honestly, that's how I feel about Halloween. My 6-year-old is like, "So we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna go here, and then there's this other one over." I'm like, "We can't have all of that candy. We'll do 2 of them. It's still gonna be a ton of candy that's gonna last until January."
See, and I'm kind of more relaxed about Halloween. I don't love it, but I like also nobody trick or treats here, so it's like I mean, because we live like a quarter mile from the road up a hill. I
Well,
mean, nobody in their right mind would work that hard for a piece of candy when everyone else is like
no, we
easy.
don't right, same here, we don't do that either, but it's the all the sugar that's gonna come into the house, and maybe this is my own like, this is because this is my thing, like, it's very hard for me to not be constantly reaching into their candy.
Yeah, you gotta only take the
Mm.
ones that like give yourself a, defined amount. But see, like Halloween is about the candy. All these other holidays are not about the candy, but they make it about the candy. Like
Mhm.
again, the Memorial Day parade should not be about the candy. That's what
Yeah, that's
Halloween
weird.
one
Yeah,
time a year. Halloween, get the candy. And
yeah.
then of course I take most of my kids' candy away anyways.
Do you? How do you manage that?
Well, when they were younger, we have an elf. We had an elf for Christmas who would
Mhm, I don't do that.
okay. Well, the elf is very good at eating candy. So the elf would always, on the
Oh, that's brilliant.
second night would the elf would get into the candy and then be like sick in the toilet for, the next 24 hours with the candy wrappers everywhere. So that was effective for quite some time.
Oh my gosh. That is so smart.
I also just throw the candy out because like I mean, it's so much candy.
They don't I feel like that would be like I would not I care more about my sanity of not dealing with the children who are like, "What happened to all my candy?"
Oh my gosh. Carol says, sad, Jess, just sad. I know. So miserable around here.
It does work as my kids are still really young, so maybe this isn't the same for you, but it's good. It's very good bribery motivation because I still don't really do allowance yet. So it
Well,
can be like, oh, well, if you do this, you do that, then this is what you can have at lunchtime or whatever.
see, as they've gotten older, I've gotten more lax with the candy because I feel like at some point they have to regulate themselves. And Stella is allergic to dairy, so she can't have most of the candy anyway. So that's like a blessing, right?
There you go.
And Anastasia now is she doesn't want a lot of sugar anyway because it makes her feel so bad, so
Nice.
they self-regulate pretty well now. I've really eased up, but when they were younger, it would drive me like all like every single like every week there's a holiday that we have to like give candy and cupcakes and it's like it's not special if it's all the time, right? There's nothing special. This
Mm.
is normal now.
Mhm. That's true. That makes me think of, like, And so I'm homeschooling my kids, so it's not the same this year, but it makes me think of like the way that birthdays are handled now, and everybody brings in all these things to class. Do you do that? First, I need to say it before I say anything. Do you do that?
No. In
Oh my
fact, oh my
gosh.
gosh, I got into a Facebook fight with another parent in my kid's class once because I would bring in like giant fruit platters. I'm that parent, like, like and I would make it look really beautiful, like, and
That's
the kids
awesome.
loved it. And so I took a picture of it when Anastasia was in like second grade. So this is 7 years ago, right? 8 years ago. I, I took a picture of it and I posted it on my Facebook and I said, see, kids don't need to have. I had like the before and the after was a totally empty platter, right? The kids
Mhm.
ate all the fruit. I said, see, kids don't need sugar to enjoy a birthday celebration. And this somebody took it personally, which I guess I didn't, of course, intend it that way, but I could see if they brought in sugar for their kids, it might seem like I was personally insulting them. I wasn't, but man, it was like a massive, like it was like a whole thing. People are very emotionally attached to their but then what happens is they have like the in-class celebration, then you go to the like out of class celebration, right? So you have like it's like multiple, it's not just one celebration, it's multiple celebrations for one kid, which is fine. But when you have 25 kids in the class, I mean, let's do the math here. That's 50 celebrations. That's one a week. Again,
Yeah.
not special.
I just have this um such a little rebel inside of me, and I'm like, I am not bringing a whole party to the school. Like, come on, like this is not necessary. We're gonna have your birthday on your birthday, and we'll do it, and it'll be fine. But I'm also like I really appreciate people who can do that and who put on the whole thing, and like even like the birthday parties that that people do for their kids, that's just got all of it. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. I just have so much rebellion against it. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. You can't make me.
I
I'm
mean, it's hard. It's hard being a parent these days because, like, if you believe that you want your kids to have something different, then other parents feel like you're like offending them or you're like upset with them or
yeah.
and it's not about one person or one, it's about this whole general tradition of why are we giving our kids so like what yeah, you're right, 3 birthday parties actually. So at the
Mhm.
end of the day, you have your in-class birthday party, you have your and of course my kids are old now, so we don't do this anymore, but you have your like gymnastics birthday party, you have your family birthday party.
Right.
Birthday parties. It's a lot of birthday parties for every single birthday.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and I do feel like there's something I've been noticing it, and I've been trying to figure out how, like, what do I want to do? I've been thinking about it. But there's been so much, like, I've raised my kids. Like, I know that this is not just something that just came out of the blue. This is how we've been conditioning them. But they're so conditioned for stuff. And I'm like, what I really want to do is I really want to like eliminate like most of the stuff. I just want to go do things. I want to do events. But I know why it happens too. Like it's so exciting to receive things, and it's exciting for the other person when the other person's excited. Like there's so much of that going on. But I'm like, how do I very gently detach us from this way of living, because it's starting to make me crazy.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that's like, can we just burn it all? Like just like
Welcome to my coaching
forget it
program.
all. I know. I know. I
Oh
know.
my
It's just like
god, okay.
specifically with my kids though. It's like a hard.
It's so hard because I mean, they see it everywhere, and we totally do it also. I mean,
I know.
it's like impossible. I saw the most brilliant meme today. Hold on. Um, I just gotta get to it again. I'm gonna share it with you guys.
I love it.
Okay. The White House warns supply chain shortages could lead Americans to discover the true meaning of Christmas this year.
Yay. I'm telling you, I feel like I have been really like, you and I talk about this all the time. We talk about how like all the stuff and how it's devalue, like having so much stuff devalues the things that you have. That was one of my favorite things you've ever said, is like the more stuff you have, the less value everything has.
Mhm.
And I've been really eliminating from my own life. And now I feel like I'm in this place where I'm like, okay, how do I make everybody else eliminate? Because it's all part of my life too. And I just don't want it anymore.
Yeah. Good luck. My kids bring in so much stuff, especially Stella. Her room is like full. I mean, it's like I just bring stuff out, get rid of stuff. You know, I try and be like Zen about it, but I
I
definitely have an echo going on. I'm
Oh,
gonna
do
try and
you?
echo. Yeah.
I don't have an
You
echo.
guys hear the echo?
I don't hear an echo.
Okay, well that's good. It's a
I
light echo.
a light echo. It's so annoying.
No.
Sorry.
Right now it's not there. Oh, yes, it is.
But
Oh, I
we're
wonder.
not hearing it on my end.
Mm, hmm, I don't know. There's an echo cancellation. I'm gonna turn it off because maybe that's the problem. You just keep talking, Allison.
Okay. I'll let you know if I start hearing an echo.
Sometimes
Sometimes
when
we
we
start.
start.
Oh
Oh
no,
no. Okay,
I
sorry,
hear it now.
turn it off. Now it's on.
It's like the last time you turned off the echo cancellation, I started hearing a big one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I don't know.
well.
Hmm.
Sorry about that.
Let's try and talk quieter so the echo is quieter.
I will say though that I'm learning things that the thing that I am teaching my kids is that I am teaching them how to declutter. And that's a thing I don't really feel like I ever really learned. So that's bonus. Like
Totally.
it's all about making it's really I mean it's just like with anything. It's all about making them feel their own stuff. So like if you're going to choose to have a lot of stuff, you need to be the one feeling the effects of that and not other people managing it. So that's what I've kind of been leaning into more than anything now is like, okay, you can have this stuff, but like I'm not going to be the one managing it. I'm done managing people's stuff. Maybe that's really the point that I'm at.
That's like the
So
brilliant
done
point
with
to
it.
get to, right? I
Yeah.
mean, but it's still you still get to a point where you're like, oh my gosh, so much stuff every single day. Stella, who's not in this house right now, she is always buying stuff. Like she has her own money, she has her own stuff, and she is always buying. And as much as I'm like, okay, I told her we're taking a buying break until November 15th. And literally 15 minutes later, she's like, Mom, I know we're on a buying break, but
What kind of stuff is she buying?
everything. She buys everything. She buys art supplies. She buys crystals. She's like a massive Etsy shopper. She buys all the stuff, clothing, shoes, jewelry. She wears so much jewelry every day. I mean, makeup, like all the things. She loves buying things.
It's a real method of it's not I don't know if coping is the right word, but it's what we all do this. It's like a buffering thing. Sometimes it's just like this makes me feel really good to buy stuff. Like just the same reason we walk into the pantry when we're not hungry and we just want to eat. It's or pick up our phone and scroll through Facebook when there's nothing actually that we're wanting to do there. It's an endorphin, right?
She genuinely wants all this stuff. I mean, but she's like, I mean, okay, she's in middle school. Like, I think that's when you start to but there's, like, so much irony. So she tells me, she's like, "Mom, I manifested money." She said, "I bought crystals, I set up a manifestation, and then, like, 15 minutes later, Dad was like, 'Stella, here's some money.'" I'm like, "Okay." But then she's like, "Now I need to buy more crystals." I'm like, "But if you manifested the money, don't you wanna keep it?" It's like, "I can manifest even more." I'm like, like, maybe like, I believe in manifestation totally.
Mhm.
So then I'm like, the fine line, like, I don't know.
How do I say this? Amber said, my Virgo daughter does that too. Has so much trouble letting anything go. That's an interesting thing, actually. I do think that there are personality things with those different signs like that.
So, what comes after Leo? Because she's the last day of being a Leo, so she's like a cusp Leo, and then
I
whatever.
don't know. I know it was like this much about all that.
I thought for many years that my sign was a water sign, but it turns out it's actually the water bearer, but it's an air sign now. That's very confusing to me. Why would you be bearing water if you're an air sign?
I really want to talk about this, but I just don't know anything about it. So, like, if anybody actually knows this stuff a lot, you want to come on the show?
All right, so apparently Stella is a cusp Virgo. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe it's the Virgo-ness in her that is just encouraging all this purchasing all the time. Whereas Anastasia has thousands of dollars stocked away. She will never
Mhm.
ever touch that money. She's saving up for two cars because she wants like an antique car and a regular car. I'm like,
That's
okay.
amazing. It's
I
so
bet when it
funny how
comes time
different
to
we
part
all
with that
are.
money though, you're not gonna want two cars.
That's so funny. What's your personality type when it comes to spending? Are you more of a saver or a spender?
Um, I think I'm like right in between. I buy stuff until I find the right thing. So I will like and then once I find the right thing, I completely stop buying anything, right? So if I find
Mhm.
the I'll like buy 10 pairs of pants and then once I find the one that fits, like I never look at other pants until like I don't
Yeah.
shop around. Like I just shop for the right thing and then that's but I have no problem like trying a bunch of things and spending money
Mhm.
to get to the right thing. But it's only like for that purpose. Once that purpose is met, I don't buy anything else. That's it. I have like 20 of these like tank tops because they're amazing. They're the right thing. I would never purchase another tank top because I found the right thing.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
I'm kinda like that. But then I get sort of sucked in sometimes when I'm like, "Oh, that's cute," and let me look at it, and then I'm like, "I don't like, why am I spending the energy? Because it's never quite right." I do have this, like, little bit of, like, FOMO that happens regularly when it comes to stuff because 'cause I'm like, "Well, what if I just don't have, like, that perfect thing yet?" Because I've always been like that. I'm like, there is some perfect thing out there, and if I'm just like a perfect way of doing thing or a perfect item. I mean, that's just like part of my personality. And if I just look at all the options and know everything, then I will know have exactly the things that I want perfectly lined up. So that's kind of a
Are you a
lot of
review reader?
energy.
Because I used to read reviews a lot and then I found out they were all BS. So now I just buy all the stuff and
I
return
am
and
a review
donate what I
reader.
Yeah, so like don't read reviews because they're all lies.
Thousands and thousands of them though.
Yeah. Mhm.
How? How can that be? How are they all lies?
Because well, maybe on like on Amazon they are anyway. I don't know about on other websites, but like on Amazon, there have been these like Wall Street Journal investigations about how these companies actually find and target people who put bad reviews up and like harass them. First they offer them a gift card or a refund or something, and then they start harassing them if they don't take the review down. So,
What?
yeah, I can share the link.
I read all kinds of bad reviews though.
Well, because some people don't actually take them down, but those I mean, there's way less bad reviews than and also, like, the kids when they I notice when they buy stuff on Amazon, oftentimes it comes with a gift card and it says, "This can be redeemed once you leave a positive review."
Oh
So,
yeah,
I
I've
mean,
seen
they're
that
just
too.
buying positive reviews when the item works. If it doesn't work in 2 weeks, it doesn't matter because they've already left the positive review.
Hmm. See, I look at that and I'm like, "That's good marketing there."
I mean, it is good marketing, but it's not helpful for how much time we spend actually on reviews, right?
Mhm. That's
I'm
true.
gonna find you the link to the article.
That's interesting.
Okay, do you wanna know what book I'm reading right now?
Absolutely.
Actually, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's about the family that, marketed Valium and, OxyContin and how because they had this massive lawsuit against them because of the whole opioid epidemic,
Mhm.
and it's just fascinating talking about marketing. They were the first company, like, they're a privately held family company. They were the first company to actually market drugs to doctors in the 1950s. Brilliant.
Wow.
Okay, I'll
Wow,
tell you what
that's
it's called.
crazy. What made
It's
you read that? I'm just curious. How do you pick your books?
a I like history,
Yeah.
and I'm interested in the I guess, the influence of marketing into every area of our life, right? So,
Mhm.
this family also had, an in with the head of the FDA who then left the FDA to go work for that. I mean, there's like all these like gray
Yeah.
areas. I'm interested in the gray areas of life. So
So am I.
yeah. It's really
So am
very
I.
good. I never look at the title of a book though, and then it's called Empire of Pain.
You never look at the title?
No. I mean, like, because I read them on my Kindle, I never see the front,
Oh.
right?
I have tried to read books on devices, and I just don't like it. I never end up finishing them.
See, and I don't like holding up books in bed because it's like they like fall I mean, it's
But it's just so tangible. I'm such a tangible person.
right, well, I mean, it is, but okay, hold on. Yeah, the yeah, I also buy the audiobook sometimes with the printed book. If I really like it, I'll go back and add the audiobook so I can listen to it in the car, and it keeps
Mhm.
your spot, like, across your device, so,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
That is pretty cool. I like that.
Okay, yeah, it's a crazy story, Amy. It's unbelievable, and it all happened on Long Island, so
There is so much. I'm telling you, like that's the kind of stuff. Does it make you frustrated though when you read and really actually know more about the gray areas? Because then it makes me like I really enjoy it and it feels like okay, I'm knowing what's actually going on. I'm much more in tune with the truth of the reality of things. But then I feel frustrated because not everybody knows it. And I'm like, I'm not a conflict person, but also I'm like, there's a lot more going on, guys. And
you know,
then I get frustrated.
I think it, like, strengthens my like, all of it strengthens my ability to say no to things because 'cause I'm like, "Okay,
Mm.
so much of what we believe is it's opinion. It's,
Mhm.
it's somebody's opinion, it's heavily influenced." But I really love reading historical fiction as well, and I love reading about all of the European, like, kings and queens and the
Yeah.
drama with all of that. And what when you read about what would happen at, like, court, right, at, like, European court, and people would just spread rumors and lies, and that was the news, and it's like, you know what? This has been the same forever. Like, what
Yeah.
happens in our news now has happened for all of human history. We have always been manipulating things to benefit ourselves, and
Mm.
I think that's a really good perspective. It's like, okay, so there's more to the story, and I feel like it strengthens my reserve to, like, stick to my values and morals because I know more, right? Like, I know
Mhm.
that there's more to this. I know enough to know that this is not all number 1, there's no such thing as the truth, right? And
Mhm.
number 2, like, this story may be rewritten, 75 years from now from another point of view. Like, we might be, like, taking down statues or, like, like, changing Columbus Day to better represent, like, where we are culturally, and that's just what it is, human experience. Like, it's not black or white. It's very much
Mhm.
gray. And so I really I think reading these stories strengthens my resolve to just kind of find my own truth and go with my own, like, gut feeling about things. Does that
That's
make sense?
great. Totally. I love that.
And it's interesting how this stuff happens. I find marketing fascinating, so
I have always so I that's my background in my previous careers. Marketing, the graphic design side of it, the commercial side of it. So I know all of it pretty well. And I've done a lot within Facebook ads and stuff, and I just know how it all works. And it's really wild. So
it's
it's
wild,
really
right? You
fascinating to me too.
manipulate somebody to think something. And I mean, that's what we do. We
Hmm.
manipulate people to believe what we want them to believe
Yep.
every single day, right?
Mhm.
We at the water cooler at work, you're telling a story because you want to manipulate this person that you're talking to believe something about you, some, like, idea about you or something like that. Like,
Mm.
we are master manipulators, and that's okay. That's fine. But it's like it's nice to know that that's what's happening.
Oh my gosh, I could just so dive into philosophy with all of this.
I think the problem is when you fight it too much, right? Then you're like, "Well, this is not right. This is wrong." It's like, is it really right or wrong? Whenever, because we have these massive communities that we run well, I have these massive communities that I run on Facebook, and occasionally there will be something that happens, right? Because in any community there is arguments and whatever. Most Now, I will say our communities are so free from drama, it's incredible. But on the rare occasion that it does happen, it's like, or with my kids, right? It's probably a better example. When my children are fighting and they each have their side of the story, I'm like, I know that you believe your side and I know that you believe your side, but from my perspective, the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? So
Mhm.
you got to give a little and you got to give a little, and we're going to come closer to the truth, right? Because no one's single story is not without some sort of personal manipulation of the facts to
Mhm.
make them seem that, like, I didn't make a face. She made a face. Like, you probably did make a face, maybe not as an extreme face as your sister is saying that you made, but
It's such a good example. Yeah.
you wouldn't be arguing if there were not some sort of negative energy between the two of you. So
Right. Right.
it got there somewhere.
Yeah. I'm so in tune to the negative energy. I'm like, listen, let's talk about tone again for the 15th time. you gotta you gotta listen to your own tone. Oh my goodness, that's our version of it usually. It's like the way
And
it's
it. They know
Mhm.
it. They know it, but it's like, how many times is it gonna take before it's
It's all
understood?
self-protection too.
Yeah,
Like I'm not gonna admit to that or say that. That's what all of this is. Like the manipulations that we do amongst ourselves, it's all self-protection.
absolutely.
Mhm.
I've been watching this thing on Netflix, the Mary Queen of Scots story, like,
Okay.
just highly dramatized, by the way. But, I mean, and for, back to the European court, right? Everyone was just trying to stay alive. Like,
Right.
they literally did not want their heads cut off, so they had to lie and lie and lie or die. Like,
This is this just feels so much like the description of what life feels like, doesn't it?
yeah, the siblings too, right? And they were all fighting
Yeah.
and lying about their own siblings, but I can see in children how that would
Mhm.
happen. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It's always the fear of the danger, the fear of punishment, fear of death in those times. I mean,
right.
some people still live in those kinds of conditions. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Mm.
So
Well, that's fascinating. I'm not quite sure where to go with it.
I know. I think, I guess the point is, all the stuff in our life and everything, there's a lot of other stories and a lot of other, like, what you're seeing, this is what I coach on all the time. What you see at the store is one small little bit of the story of that thing, right? There's
Mm,
so much more. Like, by the time you bring something into your life and you're consuming it, it's in the fourth phase of its five-phase life cycle. You did not see the raw materials being
mhm,
extracted. You did not see the item being put together, being produced in a factory. You did not see it being shipped here. Like, all you're seeing, it's new to you, but it's almost done. It's being consumed now. The next part is disposal, right? So there's so much more to the story than just, have you ever heard that story about a woman in, I think she was in California, and she ordered stuff from the internet for her daughter's birthday party, and inside of one of the decorations was a note from a prisoner that said, "Please help me." Right? So, like, there was a Chinese prisoner who was making these products, because a lot of, well, you can go and
yeah, yeah,
research this yourself, friends. But in China, a lot of prisoners are involved in the manufacturing process. And
mhm,
so the woman was, getting the decorations out, and she found this note for help inside these decorations. And it turned into, like, her mission to
oh
kind
my
of bring
gosh.
awareness, right, to the truth about how your stuff is being produced.
Wow. Is there like where we what happened?
And I'm not sure what the end result is. Hold on, I'll find a link for that too.
I'm like, you can't tell me just the beginning of that story.
Okay, note from Chinese factory worker. Um, okay, there's actually quite a few of these, like, things that have happened. Um, okay, a note in a Walmart purse from a prisoner in China in a Chinese factory. There's a lot of these, so you can find many of these stories, but
Mm.
I'll drop this one that I found into the links here. It's just there's always more to the story.
There's
Oh,
always
there's
that's
always more
that's
to the story.
and that's true just like across the board. That's also something that I tell all my people. There's just always more to the story. And we always have it in this and through our own perspectives and our own filters and our own ideas and our own personal experience, but there's just so much more all the time in everything.
It's like when you come across somebody and they're in a bad mood and you've never met them before and you make all of these assumptions, like there's more to their story.
Right.
It's not about you, it's
Right.
about them. Like they're in a bad mood for a reason. There's more to their story. You have no idea what's going on.
Right.
That's why just give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Like
Yeah.
try and make their life better, not worse.
That's such a lost art, the benefit of the doubt. But it's not like it's like I think it's our protective nature again that is always keeping us from that because it's like, well, I have to like be on the defense.
Right.
I have to have
Right.
my armor up. I have to like protect myself. I got to watch out and be ready. And it's just like I mean, if you're always this is what I tell my people too. If you're always putting your feelings outside of you and other people's circles and other circumstances, then yeah, I understand why you have to do that because like you have no control over how you're feeling. But when you realize that you actually are in charge of and have all the authority over how you're feeling within yourself, then there's all that space. There's so much space for generosity for other people and whatever they're going through and whatever they're dealing with. And even when they say things to you and interact with you in ways that you don't like, there's room for it because you're not at the mercy of it with how you are within yourself.
Sometimes my kids say to me, I know that they're struggling on the inside, but they're being very mean. Because for so many years, I've
Aww.
been like, if somebody's mean to you, they're struggling on the inside. Like, you know,
Yeah. Aww.
not right. But it's also like it's hard for them to be nice.
Well,
So
yeah.
there's always like one kid in school who's mean.
Mhm.
I like the mean, like to your child for, and
It's so
maybe
hard.
it's also mean to somebody else. You never hear that side of it, right?
Right. That's true. That's true. Kids don't really have they're in the process of learning the capacity that they have to be, in control of their own feelings too. And they don't have a fully formed brain. So some of the
And
stuff
you
that
see what's going on in their households, right? So
right.
if a child shows up and is mean to you, they had a rough morning. Like
Mhm.
maybe things are not very good in their house right now. Like I
Mhm.
know that it doesn't feel good to be on the receiving end of that, but there's more to the story.
Mhm. Yeah. And it also so it's funny because my daughter leans toward the spectrum of like, well, then I want to make them be like my friend and be happy with me and like, you know, the side
Right.
of people pleasing codependency that is, I don't know where she gets that from.
Huh, Allison, where does she get that from?
Totally me, 100% me. So then for me, it's been really interesting to have these conversations because it's like you can be generous towards people and let them, be in whatever's going on with them and also not have to fix it. Like
Right.
you don't have to make their thoughts be like happy towards you. You don't have to be friends. You don't have to. Like it's fine. It's fine for it to just be like, okay, that's you over there and me over here. And it doesn't make you unkind either. So there's like both those sides of the spectrums. I think depending on the kind of personality that you're dealing with, it's
Yeah, personalities difficult.
why are we so many different personalities? Isn't it crazy how this blows my mind? I say this all the time, but I'll never get over it. The fact that there are so many people on this planet and we are all specifically unique. Like yeah, we have like similarities in our personalities and like it's really fun to be like, okay, oh, you do that too? We're like in this like club that we both have the same kinds of issues and stuff. But really we're all just 100% our own unique personality, like things going on inside of our own world and with our own experiences that interact with our personalities and our wirings. It just blows my mind. It's
Yeah,
so cool.
totally.
It's so cool.
Sometimes I think that we are just uniquely the same. So
like
you
we
can
have
see difference, and that's what makes us all the same.
we have all like these same strands of things, but then the way that information works within each of us, right? It's like just even the fact that even someone who can looks a lot like you, they still don't look just like you. Just even that is crazy. It's the same in how all those pieces kind of fit together.
100%. It's
Yeah.
fascinating. That's why we do this work. It's fascinating.
It's so fascinating. That's exactly why I do this. It's so cool. Oh,
Speaking about like on that little note there, I think I have a very generic looking face because people all the time are like, I think I know you. Have we met before? I'm like, no, I don't think so.
a
So I
generic
decided
looking
years ago
face.
that I must have a very generic look to me because everywhere I go, people are like, do I know you? Like, have I met you before?
Maybe you look like someone famous.
I don't know.
Maybe
Do
that's
I?
what it is. I don't know. Maybe you do.
I don't know.
Wow.
I'm no famous. I never follow pop culture, so
I don't either.
I really have like no pop cultural references to anything, and I just have to lie. I lie. I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh, like a look, you just brought it full circle.
Pretend that I know what you're talking about. I have no
How we
idea.
manipulate our circumstances.
I don't know anything about who this singer is or who this celebrity is. I've never seen a Kardashian in my life. Like,
So funny. So if anybody knows that Jess looks like somebody famous, will you please put it in the comments?
I just think I'm actually generic looking. That's it. Like, I look like somebody that you probably met like 5 years ago.
Such a funny way of saying that. Oh, I love it.
But
Well,
since we've been doing podcasts and I have more of like a visual thing now, sometimes I do think some people like actually have seen my podcast or something like that, and
probably.
or like follow, like especially locally, because I had a pretty good local following in the beginning. Because sometimes people are very familiar with me. But I get that because like the bloggers and YouTubers and whatever that I follow, I really feel like I know them very well. They've
Right.
never seen me ever. Like,
Okay, so this is like a random little thought. I have this fear of all these people that I've met because I know so many people online now. I have this fear that I'm going to meet them in person. I'm not going to know them.
well, that's why we're doing name tags for our retreat.
I might be like so confused because I've only seen you in this one dimension.
Right. No, that's why we're doing the. Oh my gosh! So when I met Meredith, like another one of the coaches in our program, in person, after working with her for years and years and years, hello, she is so tall. Like, I am so short. I was like, I never pictured you this tall.
It's so bizarre. It's so disorienting.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
funny.
Yeah. But then also I meet people who I've worked with now. Like I met Gina, right? Gina and I have been working together for 2 years almost. Well, 1.5 years. But like every single day I talk to Gina 7 days a week, every single day, right? I never met her until like a month ago. And it was just like, I mean, it was exactly the same as like working with her every day. There was no like, oh yeah. Like it wasn't like, oh my God. I was like, this is just another conversation that we're having.
I love that. I think that's how it would be if you and I met in person.
Yes, I think so too.
She's like, yeah, of course.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
I love it.
All right, we're getting to the end of our
All right,
hour.
we are.
We need a name.
All right, fans, people, audience.
We
need
lost
you.
a lot of people this time. Sorry if we were boring.
That's good information. If you have anything you want us to talk about, please drop us a note, and we would love to discuss all the things. But yeah, we need a title for today.
Top shelf sugar.
Top shelf something.
The gray area. Gray.
Yeah. Top shelf gray. I don't do it on the spot. This is why I don't do this on the spot. So give us your ideas, and we'll pick them. This is why.
Do you have anything good planned for the weekend, Allison? While we wait for a good name to come in. That's tomorrow.
I don't really have any plans this weekend.
Me either. Maybe you should go apple picking.
No.
Hay rides. You should go on a hay ride.
I'm not gonna. Well, yeah, so maybe I could look into those things. Those are kinds of things that I don't plan very well. I just tend to be spur of the moment. So yeah, maybe I'll
Margie.
look that up.
Margie says, how many shades of gray? Mishmash of nothing, Denise says.
I love it.
Oh, we could get a whole new following if we had shades of gray in our
I know, right? They'd be very disappointed, though, I think.
I mean, that's right. Turns out
They would come and then they would leave.
Ooh, a live show every week.
Sorry. I'll let you not.
The show with no name, Mishmash of nothing.
It's kind of like often. Top shelf nothing.
Hyperbole. I don't know. All right. Well, we'll have to keep thinking of it. We have to end our broadcast now.
It's time. All right, people.
Before we lose the last 13.
We love you.
We love you. If you're watching this later on replay on YouTube, do the thing that you're supposed to do, like and subscribe, or on any other podcast aggregator that you actually let us know where you do watch this if you're not live.
Yeah.
Leave comments for us. Talk to us in the comments. We want to follow up on some comments.
Where do you find us? And tell us why you watched, because then we'll know.
Oh my gosh, Allison, next week, I forgot to talk about this. We have to talk about my husband's viral YouTube videos that are like...
What? You're telling me this now?
Oh my gosh.
All right, we'll talk about it next week. Oh my
yeah, gosh. We'll talk about it next week.
That's top shelf content there.
Well, actually, it's not. That's what makes it so bizarre. Oh.
Good to know.
All right.
All right.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
We love you guys.
Love you.